Let's do this. Yo, this sounds like I'm about to kick a mad freestyle right now, but I do not rap. I'm just going to talk over this for a little bit. Welcome to the show. This is Waffle Talk. My name is Ronnie. And today, we're going to try some different things. I know it's a new day. It is a bit of a new setup. I mean, I'm going to work on flipping back and forth, but, you know, we'll see what happens. I might like this a little better. What's the haps? What's the haps? What's the haps? This is Waffle. Like I said, this is Waffle Talk. I am Ronnie. The wrong topic is in the ticker. My bad. I'm going to change that real quick, but if y'all can do me a favor right now, if you could if you're here, share, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, like the page. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe to the page. Share it with your friends and people you think might get a little bit of, might get a little something out of this. Appreciate it, Kel, for that like. Whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. But we are here for the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Waffle Talk. I am Ronnie. And today I wanted to try some new things. I know it's a new day. I put in the Facebook group. If you're a part of it, you know this. I'm going to start working on Sundays now, or try to work on Sundays. So that way it gives me some time to free up the week to let things happen throughout the week, so I could do this on a week-to-week basis. Also, what it does for the future going forward, and you'll see it a little bit later, for the future going forward, I want to try to cover some news stories that are relevant to men, and By all means, go ahead. I want to share some news stories that are relevant to men, and some things that are very interesting, pissing people off on social media, because that's what I mean. It's not what I like to see, but uh, it's engaging for me. So, I got water in this cup, and then some rum and orange juice in this cup. So we'll see how these Sundays work. I don't know if people are still with families, if COVID, uh, since COVID is over, everybody's out. I realize weekends for millennials tend to be pretty busy, even on Sundays, I guess, because none of us go to church anymore. So we have to figure out. We have to figure out what we're going to do at that time. That's usually filled with Sunday fun day brunches and all kinds of stuff. Uh, so, excuse me. So what's going to change? Um, like I said, I wanted to cover some things throughout the week that happen throughout the week. So Sunday seems like the best day for me. It also gives me time to, because I'm gonna be quite honest with you how this schedule works if I keep doing it on Wednesdays. So if I do things on Wednesdays, I do this. Let's say do the show Wednesday, right? So doing this kind of stuff, like talking on camera, pretty much to myself for the most part, um, engaging in these ideas, talking about it's very mentally draining, or it can be. And not everybody, like the camera kind of sucks your soul out a little bit if you're not built for this. I'm kind of there, not really, but from time to time it can get exhausting. So what I've decided to do is I have decided to uh, move from Wednesdays to Sundays because the Wednesday schedule looks like this. I do the show on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, I don't want to do anything. Friday is National Teacher Siesta Night, because I don't know too many teachers who do anything on Fridays. And then Saturday, Sunday's the weekend. I have no time then. Then I got Monday and Tuesday to get ready for a Wednesday night program. Some topics. I'm rushing to get stuff done, trying to remember what's going on throughout the week, and it becomes very hectic. So I think Sunday is a good day for me. It gives me some time to work throughout the week and some free time to look some stuff up, have some kind of story for the week or whatever it may be. Shout out to the one person rocking with me right now. At this point, unsurprising to me, I figure a lot of people, oh man. So my social media is a very, I'm just kind of stalling while I get these other updates going. My social media um, is pretty interesting. People usually come to argue, and then when they get to a point where I don't want to argue anymore, it's they tend to ignore me, which is perfectly fine. What I think it says about me though, and it's been this way kind of like my entire life, is that I've always been provocative, and I could always move people, and I guess I should be doing something with it. So if this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. So one, two people show up. Unless I don't feel like doing it anymore, I'm gonna keep showing up. So like I said, share it with your friends, people who might be interested. But today, what I wanted to talk about is the thing. Unlearned is the topic. Unlearned, and that's basically the things that society has told you about women that you had to learn later on wasn't true. I'll share some stories that I have, as well as a list I have with that I made with some other people. If you have any that you would like to contribute, by all means, you could drop them in the chat. All right, you could drop them in the chat if you got any things that you learned about women that you found out later weren't true, and we'll get to that later on the show. But for now, I want to try something new. And I want to go into men's news. In men's news, so again, I want to try to do something positive. Celebrate men and their accomplishments. Share stories that are relevant to men, whether it be health, strength, fitness. I mean, I'm not necessarily a fitness expert, but it's really good to share the information anyway. Style, whatever the case may be. If it's dealing with men, I'm going to try to share a story with you a couple stories with you a week, just so we can get some balance in this piece. Because it's not all about women. Because like I always say, I want this to be about men and improving men. So I want to try something different here. So the first story we're going to talk about is, let me pull it up. All right. There's a story here from Brooklyn. Says hero neighbor to the rescue after mother threw herself and two children from Brooklyn apartment window. These are Black people, and it says hero neighbor, and the hero neighbor was actually a man by the name of Carl Chin. And apparently, what happened was he was. I'm going to tell it from his side of the story. He said he was in bed. He heard a thud, like a body had hit the ground. And when he went to check it out, he had saw that this woman was basically, I hate to say it, but she was like slinging her baby like on the ground. And her baby was how old is the kid again? It says in the article here, behind a 6-story apartment in Brooklyn, her 4-week-old baby and her toddler. So I think her son was 2 and the baby is 4 weeks old. And so he said he's laying in bed. We hear a thump like a body hits the ground. I pick up my house phone, dial 911. Young mother pushed the air conditioner out of her bedroom, then threw her newborn out of it down to 2.5 stories on the pavement. She threw her 2-year-old son down as well. And then the mother jumped down herself. All 3 of them were naked. So it doesn't seem like a stable situation going on right now. And he said she took the baby by the leg and then she basically just slung the baby on the ground. Counted the number of times that said the mother slammed the baby on the cement. And he said Harrison said she wanted to intervene, but couldn't scale the 8-foot tall chain link fence separating her from home, from where the mother and children were. And her brother-in-law, however, ran right for the barrier, preventing them from intervening. Right. So she couldn't do it, but a man could. Black men protect the community. I used my forearm, got her out, loosened the baby's grip. She said she was able to calm the mom down. And the mother said to her after she kind of like snapped out of it, because apparently she was really wigging out. He said to her, make sure you take, she actually thanked me and told me to take care of her daughter. Harrison said that understanding for the mother is needed at this time. I mean, yes, it is needed, but that's pretty heinous. I know things can happen, but honestly, if this was a man who did that, we wouldn't even be thinking about his mental health. He would just be a monster at that point. I'm pretty sure. Okay, well, the baby newborn is in critical condition. The mother and the 2-year-old were reported in stable condition by the police. So it could have been worse, obviously. And I mean, let's put it this way. Black men protect Black women, and this time it was protecting a Black woman from herself. Because this could have really went in a very terrible direction had he not intervened. Of course, the child more than likely would have died. The 2-year-old, she might have caught up to the 2-year-old, did something to 2-year-old. You know, it could have been anything. So luckily he was there, and luckily, Black men protecting the community. And we got to see more of this. I mean, the protection argument, we can talk about this another day. I really feel like we get a good conversation out of this, especially if women join in. But the protection argument is, I think, a ridiculous one a bit. But I have my reasons for that, and we can talk about that another time. Stop sharing that screen. And so the next story I want to talk about, something else that happened this week, I thought was pretty fascinating. I'm a big logic person. If it doesn't make sense, then it's wrong. Or if it doesn't make sense to me, I'll at least go try to find the information to help it make sense. And if I find something different that takes me in a different direction, then I'll go with that. Like, I'm very big on research and statistics. I'm actually sitting on some research that I've been doing for the wage gap. right? It's a myth, and it's been debunked plenty of times. Like the wage gap exists, but not for the reasons you think it does. Yes, there's a gap between men and women, but um, that's based off the choices that women make and not necessarily because of some overarching patriarchy. We're going to pay women less. So, what happened this week, and I just watched this today actually. I listened to the Fresh and Fit podcast on their YouTube channel actually because they usually have after hours episodes where they have a multitude of girls who get on the show and they argue these points with them just to, and it's kind of strange because it's basically the same show every single time, but it's still intriguing because for me anyway, because it's like the women continue to say the same things. Like I feel like every woman, I'm bird walking a little bit. I feel like every woman, um, I feel like every woman thinks they're gonna bring something different to the argument, but never do. It's always the same shtick, and you always find yourself repeating yourself. But anyway, um, on the Fresh and Fit podcast, they had Rolo Tomasi on there, and they did an episode where they basically uh, discussed feminism and how it's failed modern women through data, facts, and statistics. This show was all statistics the entire way through, all studies that have been done, research. Um, they covered the wage gap. They covered the reason women are sexually selective. They covered what happened in 1965 that kind of flipped the switch for modern women and made traditional women now modern women. They ran through a bunch of different things. For men, if you ever really want to know the truth about the things that are going on in our society, there's always research to find the truth. This is a good place to start. They actually go through and link they have timestamps for their conversations. And if you go into the description, um, they will give you all the studies. They have link trees for all the facts and all the statistics. I really like Fresh and Fit podcast. If you're a millennial, you'll probably enjoy it because they have hot women on here. They're our age, and they just discuss these things. One young lady I know, she actually was watching an entire episode with me, and she thought it was pretty good. She thought Myron was on point. She thought Fresh could do his own thing. But shout out to both of them and Rolo Tomasi. I really enjoyed the program. I'm an avid viewer. And the next story I want to cover is something that's been pissing the internet off for a minute now. And well, I won't say a minute, but I'll just say it's been pissing the internet. It's been pissing Black Twitter off. So 17 years later, people finally decide that they don't like the messaging in Destiny's Child's Cater to You. The song came out in, oh my word, what's that, 17 years later? So what's that, 2004? The song came out in 2004. Destiny's Child was successful as hell. And then this meme came up. It was a tweet actually. This tweet came up. Me listening to Cater to You. She made the face. And let's see, for those that need a refresher on Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle are saying in the 2004 hit, starts off basically, I'm not going to go through all the lyrics, but it basically just says like, hey babe, you've done a great job, let me take care of you, rub your feet, rub your back, roll your blunt, tie your do-rag, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it for you to make your life easier, which is a noble thing to do. I think that's what you're supposed to do. But apparently serving a man is disgusting and somehow wrong. At least to this section of Black Twitter. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb, and for once for once in my life, but I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say that I do not believe that this is a attitude for most women in Black America. I believe that a lot of women want to do this. I believe that a lot of women have a desire in their heart to do this, but I don't believe that they're necessarily going to act on it. because they probably don't want the relationship in the first place. They don't want to feel subservient, but it is what it is. Let's see what else we got here. And so then Michelle Williams said something on her Instagram page, in her Instagram story, sitting in a restaurant with Chad John 77. That's not Ocho Cinco. I was almost excited for a bit, but it's not. I didn't. If they were dated, I hadn't known. I made this face because he's waiting on the first and second verse to be fulfilled. He said, "I wrote my verse about empowering and uplifting a man. I wish he would tap me on my shoulder while I'm asleep. That was Kelly's promise, not mine." Mine said, "Don't make no promises you can't keep." I know that now have a man that's worthy of the first two verses. Katie, I was over the foolishness back then. So Kelly basically was like, to her old dude, and now she's like, yep, I'm good. All right. So, like I said, I don't necessarily believe that a lot of women want to think that way. I do think that it's out there, and I do think that it's kind of permeating and a bit toxic to feel that way. But yeah, people are upset at that and trying to cancel a song. And I think it speaks a lot to where we are as far as male-female relationships in our community. It's very, very interesting to me that our women are so distrusting of men or untrusting of men that the idea of doing anything positive for him is a negative because they feel as though they'll be used, or that it's all for nothing. He's still going to do that stuff anyway. Like, this gets into another conversation about how how women somehow think the main point of a relationship is to keep your husband's dick. Like, you'll break a whole relationship just because he had sex with somebody else. That's insane to me. But this is also not my world. It's everybody's. Well, I guess everybody's world. It's our world. But I have my own mindset on these things. All right. I got 3 people watching. I got only 1 like. Can I get the likes up to 3? Just the 3 of you. That'd be awesome. Up now it's 2 of you. God darn it. Somebody didn't want to like it that much. Appreciate it, Adam. All right. Is she? All right. So a couple things. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, donate. We're going to get into the topic today of Unlearnt. We'll get into the topic today, Unlearned, just a minute, but don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Go to the YouTube channel, Waffle Talk Ronnie on YouTube. I'm trying to move this away from my Facebook page. People know me, and for some reason, I have this reputation of being like this Facebook dude that stirs up shit all the time. But for some odd reason, almost in a vein of like some of the most I don't know how to put it, but like Donald Trump is one of those people, or like people who for some reason just go untouched. And I think I might be jinxing myself a little bit right now, but I've never been to Facebook jail. And I'm usually just pretty good. The only people who talk to me are the people I meet in person. But that's neither here nor there. At Waffle Talk Ronnie on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Cashapp links also at the bottom if you want to do anything, if you want to give me some donations. And that's about it. I don't really have anything else on that. So let's get into our topic for today. So the topic for today is Unlearned. And so what I decided to do one day is I asked some people I know, what were some of the things that you were told about women that you later found out were untrue, or you had to learn was untrue. All right. So I'd said in one other episode, I think it was the Disney vacation episode, that men are also socialized. We live in the same world that everybody else does, and we're also influenced by things that we see. It's amazing that we can often talk about how men, let's say, don't go to the doctor because society puts so much emphasis on them being strong and tough. Um, and then we forget about the fact that men have been living in this world where everybody's been told that women are great and you have to do everything to cater to her and all blah 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 blah. So, um, what I wanted to do is just go over some of those things. Let's go over some of those things that we have been told that we later found out weren't true. Now, some of these things are, I guess, a bit repetitive. I have a couple of different main ones I want to highlight, but there's also not even the aspect like what we were told about women. I'm also going to share with you a little bit about how um, I was told what to look for in a woman and what would be good for me. And later on in life, I all right. What's up? All right, we good to go. So let's go through these things that I have here. So the first one I want to mention is girls aren't horny. I don't know if I was ever told this. I just don't even. I don't think I've ever thought about this. When I was a kid, uh, I just knew I was horny, and no homo. I knew a lot of my friends were horny too. I didn't think about girls being horny because I guess it wasn't something that they discussed. Boys are a little bit more direct, and our conversations are usually limited. I remember one time in high school, this girl, said in our class, she sat around like me and a bunch of other football players, and she was like, "All y'all talk about is girls and sports," and we kind of looked at each other and was like, "Yeah, that's about right. All we do is talk about girls and sports," and so we never really thought about her being horny. We just knew about ourselves and what we were feeling. So later down the road, we find out that girls are horny. Who knew? And then come to find out, they say that they are just as horny as we are. I don't believe that to be true. I believe we all feel the urge, but I don't believe they're as horny as we are. Uh, but they're horny. And then you can make them horny. Dudes are kind of just horny just because. Like it doesn't take much. For a woman, you might have to put in some work sometimes, but uh, we find out that girls are horny. Go figure. All right. Next, we have be nice, be a gentleman. Uh, the gentleman part you can kind of you can kind of do. Being nice just never really seemed to work growing up. I remember, you know, you saw these things in movies. You know, you write notes, you get random gifts, you you know, you give when you're a kid, you like give her, your extra milk, or even as a kid, you kind of understand the roles of men and women are providing, and women kind of just taking things. but or just accepting these things. I won't say taking, but what you also seem to have is like you also learn as a boy that you can't really just be nice to her, and it hardly ever works. Like I remember being nice to a bunch of girls who I told them I liked them, and they're just like, "Oh, let's just be friends." And then I just continued being nice, and then they kept taking stuff. Or even if I didn't tell them I wanted to be more than friends, I was just very nice to them, hoping that they will like me. Like in the movies. If I do this, if I you know write her a letter and express myself to her, that's gonna be what gets her to want to be with me, and that's just not true. What I found is that women tend to enjoy the bad boys. I mean, not necessarily bad boys and like they're like kicking in doors and like breaking rules. I mean, they like those guys too, but what they like is a guy who can go against the grain. What go Not the nice guy, because the nice guy is boring to them, and women don't like boring, they like exciting. So if you can be somebody who's different and they don't know what to expect from you, then they're going to be intrigued. But being nice and everything, like nice guys finish last, I'm pretty sure it has something to do with either business or women, because you can be nice as hell, but you still have to get some kind of respect and be that exciting, stern person. Unless she's in the stability mode, women get in, where they start to look for stability in partners. And that kind of segues to my next one. Be open up. I'm sorry, open up and be vulnerable. Um, yeah, not gonna work. I've been vulnerable before. A bunch of guys have been vulnerable before. Usually, it ends up getting turned against us in some way. Um, as a reason for whatever, like we're in an argument, she'll say something. That's why you don't like your. Maybe your aunt got a reason for not liking you, like that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, opening up, being vulnerable, take your issues to other men can usually handle your issues better, when especially because I hate to say it, but like women aren't really known for fixing things. They'll listen to you and they'll give you a shoulder you can cry on, but like as far as fixing an issue, uh, not really good at that. And that's not to bash women, but like you can do it if it's like your kids and you have to make a decision. But when it comes to men's issues, I can tell you, I've had a lot of women give me terrible advice. Um, Advice that didn't work out in the end. Especially, I had one relationship where I asked a female friend of mine for advice, and she basically told me to accept whatever the uh, basically told me to accept whatever the girl was doing and like change myself. Terrible advice, because what the girl was doing to me was abusive. So terrible advice. I didn't know at the time, but be vulnerable, open up. You probably shouldn't do that, or at least be choosy, and then understand that you might not have sex with that person. All right. Let's see the next one. Speaking of being nice and being vulnerable and opening up, this is a mistake I made. When I was a kid, I really did believe that that virginity was like the hot thing, especially to like this church girl I wanted to be with. Like she was in the church all the time. Mom brought her. I really liked her. Uh, Thought she was hot. Um, and so one day I'm talking to her, and I told her because at the time I was that I was still a virgin. I said I think I want to wait until marriage, and she, I'll never forget this. And she told me that she thought it was kind of lame to still be a virgin, like, and it turned her off. And we were like 15 and 16. Um, we were like 15 and 16. So I'm like, why do you even have this idea that that being a virgin is not cool? Like, don't you know? But like again, she's older than me, and she was older than me, and she this was into older guys. Now, funny story about this. This girl, I asked this girl to prom, and she said no. Like years later, she said no, and so I ended up going to her. I ended up getting asked to go to her prom with another girl. And I said yes. And so, like a week before the prom or a couple weeks before the prom, she comes up to me and asks me if I wanted to go with her. And turns out I couldn't go because I was already going with somebody else. So you missed out, sugar. I would have blew your mind because I wasn't a virgin by then either. All right. So it's not okay to wait. That's not true. All right. Happy wife, happy life. This no, let me go through this list again. I have a list here on the Google's Docs. And I am going to let's run down this list real quick. It's really plain list. Nice guys. Nope. Women don't like nice guys. She wants her significant other to be her friend. That's an interesting one because women have terrible friendships. A lot of women can't really hold on to friends. I used to make fun, and I mean, even as an adult, you don't really hold on to friends like that. Except for men, we have friends. It's just we don't have to hang out, talk to our friends all the time. Like if I don't, like my homeboy who is a PhD, he just got his PhD. He defended his PhD, his dissertation, last week on the brink of his cousin's death. So congratulations to him. But I don't talk to him every day, all day, and that's not. I mean, that's one of my best friends. Men don't need to talk to each other all day, every day to, make something happen. That's not what we do. We have more casual relationships with people. You got to be the perfect gentleman. Not perfect, but you got to be a little bit of an asshole. This gets into marriage. You'll have as much sex as you want when you're married. A lot of my married friends tell me that's not true. It's actually the exact opposite. So apparently, once you get married, the sex is downhill from there. You have kids, and it goes even further downhill. And I've heard stories of guys who buy prostitutes and constantly cheat on their wives for those reasons. So I've talked to one guy who he was just like, I do X, Y, and Z, and I can't come in and but you're toxic for thinking like that, apparently. Always be gentle, kind, and romantic. Nope. Say the flowers for like anniversaries and shit. Don't do it on like the first date. That's simp behavior. Or if you just want to catch her off guard, not too many guys will do that. But she also might think you're using her for something. Do things you'll think they like. Nope. Do things you want to do, and they'll follow along. Simple as that, really. You can if you have similar interests, that's great. So that way you can kind of get in on it. But like sometimes she likes some stuff, you don't have to do it with her, but like you can have your own thing. Usually people just want their own things anyway. Emotionally vulnerable, women want security. I'm gonna skip that one because I think I meant to erase that. Keep your thoughts, behavior to yourself. On her behavior to yourself. Yep. You got to take it. Happy wife, happy life is actually now happy spouse, happy house. A lot of the married men I know are learning these days, especially that your happiness matters too. And they're starting to ask their women for that. Good for them, because that's really the only way we're going to make it work. And people hate on people like Kevin Samuels for what he does and how he talks to these women. But at the end of the day, conversations are being had in marriages and relationships about expectations, happiness, mutual happiness, and really what your goals are. It's conversations we need to have in our community. Focus on a relationship she wants to help you build. No, she doesn't. She wants. I heard somebody use a great analogy earlier. She doesn't want to see you race. She's going to wait at the finish line, right? That's usually how modern women are. They don't help build anymore. They talk about building generational wealth and all this other stuff, but they really want a guy to have his shit together before they jump in, because they don't feel like they're secure. All right. Looks don't matter. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I mean, granted, you'll have my kids one day, and I'll love you to pieces, but looks still matter. You got fit, feminine, friendly, and then she's not happy. So This is another thing I wanted to talk about too. And I'll zoom in on this. Um, I People have always tried to like hook me up with people. I don't know why. Um, I guess I'm too handsome to be single, too smart, or people just think I'm lonely. I don't know. But they've always told me to look for. Oh no! I'm sorry. This is not what that is. Shoot, I messed up. Okay. This is the kind of woman that you should kind of look for. Average to below average looking. Oh, this is a conversation. Relatively modest, conservative dressing, probably no life experience, religious, God fearing, and she's safe. Women like these are generally safe. If they have little to no life experience or very few life experiences, that includes like dating trips, all this other stuff. Like she's usually a little bit more formable, malleable, if you will, and easier to work with because she's going to look up to you. I mean, it sounds horrible to say average to below average, but most of us are below average. And a lot of guys who are dating eight, nines, and tens will tell you they wouldn't marry eight, nines, and tens. Eight, nines, and tens come with problems that average women don't have. So there's nothing wrong with being average. I feel like I'm average looking. I'm like an adjustable six, right? Like I could be really, really cute if I like lost some weight. If I lost some weight and I made more money, I'd probably be like an 8 or 9. Only thing holding me back is like I'm 5'8". Other than that, but you really want to look for these kind of women who are just very chill, very modest. I've been fortunate enough to know a few, and they all seem like wife material. But then I meet a bunch of other women who are like hella aggressive and like selfish and like all in their own heads, and I'm like, nobody wants that. And if they do, they end up getting divorced. So go figure. Oh, now I'm talking to myself. Okay. Do, 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 do. All right. So one thing I wanted to talk about too is how when I was growing up, I was told that I needed a woman who can like match me intellectually, and I realized how untrue that was. Uh, Women who are intellectually my match, as you would probably think, are pretty much headaches. I don't want to deal with that. Every argument is ended
Bruh.
like, what are you talking about? Like, I remember, I dated a girl who people thought was a good match for me. She was going to law school. She had she had her good. She was a Christian, all this other stuff, and then but the arguments, like she intellectually can match me and she was smart, but we disagreed on a lot and we both had our different points. And that's not something that I would want to deal with on a regular basis. And I don't understand why people think that that's the kind of woman I need to be with. I need a woman who's my opposite because I can't deal with the arguments every day. I love to debate, don't get me wrong, but if I'm with a woman, I don't want to debate with her. All right, she's supposed to be my peace, right? I have all this chaos going on in the world. This is how I am. I question things. It is what it is. But when I come to her, I want her to be my peace. So there's no way in hell I'm gonna get with a woman who's that opinionated, is that much more that smart, or thinks she's smarter than me because of degree. I don't give a shit. All right, I'm not doing that anymore. Um, what else? Some people told me that I should be with a white woman or a non-black woman. Never. I've dated a couple. They've been fine. Not something I really want to get into because I think at the end of the day, my thought process is like, oh, that's a woman. Uh, she's still a woman. Like no matter what I'm dealing with, like that's still a woman. White, black, whatever. She's still a woman. And I think that's pretty. I mean, to me it really just made black women more special for me because I realized this wasn't what I wanted, and I realized like there was a little bit of a connection I'm missing from uh the other. So And oh, here's another one. The worst she could say is no. I one time told a girl, I one time approached a girl and like she laughed in my face. Boy, get out of here, that kind of stuff. Because that's what they do. All right. Yeah, the worst she could say is no. That's not true. Definitely not true. And I think that's it as far as the topics. I kind of sped through this simply because maybe this isn't a good day. I'm not sure, but I'll definitely try again next week. Might try a later time. Maybe people got used to Wednesdays, trapped at home. Next Sunday, next Sunday is Father's Day, isn't it? So maybe not. But I definitely want to continue doing this. Like I said, Sundays work better for me. Hopefully, they're better for the viewing schedule. And hopefully, we get some more people in here because right now I'm looking at nobody viewing my shit. So, like James said, I'm going to keep grinding because that's what we do. All right. So, if you are new to the channel, and you're clearly watching this later down the road. If you're new to this channel, do me a favor and add Waffle Talk Ronnie on YouTube. Subscribe to Waffle Talk Ronnie. Like, share, subscribe to the video. Like the page. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Donate to the channel. The Cash App is right there at the bottom. So if you want to support the channel, support me, donate anything to make help production, just donate there. And then that's about it. So if there is nothing else, nobody else, as it seems, I will holler at y'all later. Peace, love, and no, that's not my line. But whatever it is, I'll holler at y'all later. It's Waffle Talk. This is Ronnie. It's a place for men to speak about men's issues. You're going to see some different stuff from me in the future. And hopefully it works. So holler at you later. Peace.